Hey guys, and welcome to IFYL. I know it's a little bit late and it is February 5th, Monday, but I always promise to get these out to you before I put my head on the pillow. So here we are. Welcome everyone, whether you're here at 12:26 a.m., 12:26 in the afternoon, 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 6 a.m., 6 p.m., potato. Thank you so much for being here with me and helping me grow my listeners and wonderful followers here. Please scan the QR code and do go to TikTok and do click on the follow. Really do appreciate that. Our master topic, as you guys know, for the week is how to help others. Series 3 means we're in the third year. And ladies and gentlemen, we are right now on show 6. And our topic for tonight is helping others starts with empowering yourself. I say that again. Helping others starts by empowering yourself first. We're on series 3, show 6, episode 2. So let's get right into this, shall we? So the first thing you have to do to help yourself is you've got to accept yourself. That means for the way you look. That means for your strengths, your weaknesses. You have to accept yourself for who you are. Other people may not like you, and that's perfectly fine if they don't like you. But you need to accept yourself, okay? You need to accept yourself. This is really, really important. And it starts out with the concept that you need to really appreciate yourself. And people say to me, John, how do I accept myself? Well, it's not hard, but it does take a little discipline. So you can accept yourself by showing yourself compassion, forgiving yourself, being focused on the present moment, acknowledging your love and your abilities, ignoring your inner critic, connecting with loved ones, moving on from disappointments, and gaining perspective on your limitations. That's how you can accept yourself. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is getting involved. Now, we've talked about getting involved before. And I think a lot of people don't quite get what getting involved is. But the most important thing about getting involved is that you need to do something that you feel great about. Okay. That could be a variety of things. It could be just volunteering, giving back, going to a soup kitchen. Maybe you're helping coach a team, volunteering. Maybe you're helping build a home, like for Habitat for Humanities. I know I did that. Maybe you're trying to do something for a local play. You're, volunteering time for that. Or perhaps maybe you're doing something like maybe making a blessing bag where, you basically make something. And then when you come across somebody's homeless, you just give them that blessing bag, which basically has some water or soda in it and some snacks and a sandwich or something so that they can eat. So, that's really, really cool, ladies and gentlemen. But getting involved is not something you just do once, okay? It's something that you do over and over again. And you do it not because you have to, but because you want to. Helping others. I had in my quote last week, I do John's quote of the week on all my emails and whatnot, so I can kind of impact people in a lot of different ways. And on the quote, I put down, help someone else, even if they can't help you. In other words, whether they have the capacity to help you or not, whether they can't, just help them with the genuine spirit that you want to help them. That is really, really important. And I got to tell you, sometimes people have their hands out and they never want to help others. They always say they're too busy. But you have to realize that help is a two-way street. Now, you can't always do a tit for tat where, you do something, somebody else can do something for you. But there should be some balance. It shouldn't be so lopsided where, like, I'm always helping you and suddenly, like, everything's, like, going this way or going that way. Like, you really can't do that. That's not a good way to embrace things. And it is not a great way to embrace things. That's the truth. And so the next thing I want to talk to you about is staying active, embrace exercise, and more. Every day I take a run. I really feel good about it. And it doesn't have to be a huge run, but it's something you get out. You feel a purpose. And one of the things that I had read a long time ago is that, whatever you do, even though it might be 15 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever you do with purpose and intent will change you. So you can get a lot done in 15 minutes. As long as you're purposeful, as long as you have a meaning. When you connect your mind and your body together and you do something like a walk or a run, you feel invigorated. I don't know about you, but you feel really invigorated. So stay active. That could be things like, maybe, like I said, you could do a walk, you could do a run, do different exercises. Maybe, if you're going somewhere, whether it's a doctor's office or whether it's a friend's or somebody's home, and they're in a building that has multiple steps, take the steps, don't take the elevator, right? So those are important things. But we choose to stay active, not because we have to, but because we want to. And when we want to do something, it changes who we are. It changes the outlook of life. That is the doggonest truth. All right, number 4, eat healthy. So eating healthy means that you have made the decision to eat healthy. All right. And when you eat healthy, it's like you're doing the right thing for you. Okay. You're doing the right thing for you. And when you do the right thing for you, it's like life suddenly changes. Life suddenly changes. And the reason life changes is because you get a different perspective of what life is about. So like I said, before we can help others, we have to first help ourselves. So that's why we're talking about tonight's show being helping others starts by empowering yourself. So many people I know are like, oh, help me first and then take care of yourself. But you can't help others if you don't take care of yourself. And anybody that expects you to just take care of them and sacrifice your own needs, well, they're selfish. And there's somebody who doesn't deserve your help. Whether it's an emergency or non-emergency, or maybe you've just got some stuff going on in your life. If somebody can't be at least, I'm going to say compassionate, maybe they don't have the wherewithal, the wiring to be empathetic, which is a little bit harder than being sympathetic, right? Being compassionate. When you're empathetic, you're putting yourself in their shoes and you're really feeling everything. When you're compassionate, you're just kind of like understanding it, but you're not really feeling it through your body. It's a big, big difference. Maybe somebody and they had a challenge. It could have been a relationship challenge, and I hear a lot of people like, oh, I know what you're going through, but they don't. So the most important thing is to tell people, like, especially if they had something like I've had, my grandparents passed away. I knew somebody that their brother passed away. And I said, I do know what it's like to lose loved ones, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know what it's like to lose a brother. And the person was like, John, it's like losing your grandparents, but in some ways it's a little different. That's why I didn't want to say I knew how you felt. Maybe you don't know exactly, but I think you do, because it's not that much different. I never lost any grandparents yet, but it's just closer. My brother was somebody that I was with all the time. And for him to die of, let's say it was leukemia or whatever it was, it like rocked my world. And that happened because I wasn't expecting it. And maybe you don't want to do something because you're afraid of something. But a wise person told me, hey, John, just because you're afraid of something, that's exactly why you should do it. Do it scared. And you'll get over your you're conditioned to being scared. I think a lot of people in life want to empower themselves, but they get stuck. They don't know what to tell people. They don't know what to tell themselves. Some people can't. I was on a show today, a guest with somebody on the show, and telling people you just have to be happy for who you are. Live your life, not someone else's life. That's the most important thing. Live your life, not someone else's life. That is the most important thing I can tell you. Live your life, not someone else's life. That's important. And you might be saying to me, John, well, of course that's easy. No, it's not easy. Because some people want you to be something maybe you're not, or they want you to be a certain profession, or they want you to live your life a certain way. And I've told you this many times before, as long as you're not harming or hurting another person, either mentally or physically, or doing something immoral like stealing, you can have whatever you want. See, empowerment is not about an ego that tries to overpower someone. Empowerment, and I want to read you a definition because it'll probably help. I'm going to read you a definition of empowerment from Merriam-Webster, and this might seem a little crazy, but I'm gonna read this for you. Empowerment is a noun, and it's the act or action of empowering someone or something, the granting of power, the right or authority to perform various acts or duties. Empower is a verb. Okay. Empowerment is a noun. That's what you're doing. You are the action of empowering. And we're going to make sure that I have empowerment. I'm going to add empowerment to your life. Empower, to give official authority or legal power to promote self-actualization or influence of. That's what empowerment is. Nowhere in there does it say to have a big ego. Nowhere in there does it say to take control of everything in your life and overpower people. Life is meant to have a balance. You might say, well, gee, I have to have power to get ahead. I can understand that. You have to have responsibility to get ahead, but you don't necessarily have to be so powerful. When we let go of our power, we have more power. It's more of a bristle power. Have you ever, maybe many years ago, maybe you boiled hot water for tea? I know I have the instant hot, so I don't do that. I haven't done that in years. But when you boil the water, or maybe you make soup on the stove, it's probably a better example. You make soup on the stove. You don't turn it up high for long. You leave it on high for a little bit. You see it starting to get warm. Then you turn it down because you don't want it to, you don't want it to burn. Same thing with this. You want to have that bristled enthusiasm. Or I'll call it bristle power. Just enough power that you can just feel it, but not enough that you're arrogant or that people think you're abusive. Or that people are like, oh my gosh, I can't stand being around that guy. I can't stand being around that lady. I'm sure you've met people like that. The reason that they're like that, ladies and gentlemen, is because they have an ego. They have control issues. They have insecurity issues. And so they feel that in order to overcompensate that, they have to be rude, obnoxious, and overpowering. And all it does, it just makes them look like a jack, you know what. But they feel if they have tons of money, or they feel that they have this power over you, that they suddenly have the right, that they're suddenly entitled. Let me share a story with you. There was a girl. She was probably in her teens, and she was parking in a lot not too far from me at home, and she was at Starbucks. So there's a place where they park, like for emergencies, where it says don't park, like a fire or loading zone. So she parked there. And I went inside. I got what I ordered. And I just thought that was, really rude that she, the way she did that. So about an hour or two later, I saw a post on Facebook saying that somebody calling her out for, being in that spot for a long time because it's for like handicapped or somebody like emergency situation. So I remember her saying that it's not my fault that the barista at Starbucks didn't know how to make the latte so quickly. If he did, I wouldn't have been there that long. I responded back to her, said, I understand that, you feel like you have to defend yourself. But the people that are actually commenting here, I've been reading, they're not wrong. You are acting entitled. And I said, maybe that's the way you're brought up, but if you act entitled, people will hate you. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy what you have. It doesn't mean that you can't have some power. But when you act with entitlement, it's like, well, because I'm this, I can park there. That's arrogance. I've known some people like this. And you know what? I've chosen to eliminate these people in my life and not have them part of it. You're a person and you deserve to be treated with respect. So now myself and a couple of people had talked to her on Facebook, and she's never parked there again. Did it take shaming her? What was it about? She felt she was entitled. She parked there with whatever fancy car she had, and she thought she was entitled to do whatever she wanted because she lived in this town and because whatever reason. But that is a false sense of entitlement. And that's the kind of entitlement that makes people upset. There's positive entitlement that you're given because of a situation or because of someone else. But entitlement that you give upon yourself to elevate yourself in a way to make yourself seem better, to cut corners and not allow people to get what they need first, that's being rude. I was at a store the other day and there was a gentleman waiting. And I said to him, oh, go ahead. He said, no, I'm already being helped. A lot of people just went ahead of him, didn't even ask. I want to be courteous. Now, is being courteous something that I have to do? No. Something I want to do. And see, when people know that you care about you and you care about them, then they start to realize that, what they're doing is wrong. And you might say, gee, we just call people on the carpet. But you see, that wasn't what I did. When I talked to this person on Facebook, I said, hey, I get it. I know you're upset because, you're running late. I get it. And if somebody needed that, like somebody who had a wheelchair or if there was a fire, I said, the truck would have never been able to get there or the person in the wheelchair would never be able to get there. So people weren't angry with you because they feel like you stepped into entitlement and you just like pretty much went to the front of the line. If you've ever been in school and, you're at the back of the line and suddenly you think it's okay. I mean, I know I used to volunteer and work at the pretzel line at my grammar school. And there was a sister there. I think it was Sister Elizabeth. And so she ran the pretzel line. So our school would make these, we would make them. We'd get them in and we put them in the oven. And we would sell them. And I would basically be the mustard person. So I'd get there, I'd put the mustard on, and I would put the mustard on people's pretzels. And for helping, I got a free pretzel. But what would happen if, we're in line and suddenly somebody just cut ahead of someone else or way ahead? That wouldn't be right. What if you were in line first and suddenly people just cut in front of you because they said, oh, they're late? I see a lot of people at the airport. They're like, "Oh, I gotta get ahead of you." Instead of, um, "Here's my ticket. I'm running late. My plane's leaving in 30 minutes. Could I please get ahead of you?" And they show me their ticket. It's not like they're BSing me. When people act with humility and being humble, you want to help these people. When they don't, it's like you want to be, I don't want to say angry, but you almost feel like this slight anger. And the last thing I want to talk about tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is discover more. Discover more in you, discover more in who you are and what you do. Um, that's what can empower you. When you have someone that connects with you, they might bring out the fact that, hey, there's something you can do. Like I had a friend of mine in my life that was in my life, and he basically was talking to me about going skeet shooting. I'd never gone skeet shooting in my life. He says, we really should hang out. We really should do this. It'd be a lot of fun. I'm like, okay. So because he aroused that curiosity in me and he mentored me and helped me with the gun and how to shoot, I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. But I never would have done that if he didn't like gently probe me. He didn't force me. He was like, hey, John, he said, we really should do it. He called me up and says, John, he says, what do you think about skeet shooting? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, oh, come on. It'll be fine. I was like, I don't know. He's like, trust me, it'll be fine. He's like, if you don't like it, we don't have to do it, but trust me, it'll be fine. I'll be there every step of the way with you. So when we get open to people's ideas, they can sometimes arouse curiosity in us to dig deeper about something that we might have laid dormant. Could be writing. It could be a lot of things. In my case, it was running, right? Because I didn't know I wanted to run. So there's a lot of ways, but in order for us to be able to help others, we have to first make the commitment to empower, to help ourselves. How do we do that? Well, we empower ourselves, we accept ourselves for who we are, we get involved, we stay active, we embrace exercise and more, we eat healthy. Now, it doesn't mean you can't have a chocolate bar, but it also doesn't mean you're going to eat 6 of them, right? Discover more about who we are, okay? Tuning in to find this out now is very important because tune in to find out more with others. Tune in to find out more with yourself. I bet a lot of you don't know yourself. Now, I've known myself for a long time. But I have to tell you, in this last year or two, I've gotten to know myself more than I've ever known myself in my entire life. Now, I don't say that to brag. I say that because there's so much in you that you need to learn about. Learn to be your best friend. And when you do that, it's like the world opens up to help you. All right, guys, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. You know it's always a privilege, a pleasure, and honor to be with you. And I hope you will choose to definitely click on the QR code or go to believemeachieve.com and follow me on TikTok. I'd really appreciate that. Of course, we have more great content coming your way this week about how to help others. But tonight we learned that we got to start with ourselves. And the easiest way is to find ways to empower ourselves. It's not quite that easy. Start loving yourself, and you'll start realizing that empowering yourself is actually kind of fun, and it's actually very rewarding. Take care, everyone, and I'll catch you real soon. All right? Thanks so much, and have a great evening.